call to order the regular council meeting of May 12, 2014. Mr. Stigo, would you please call the roll?
Colella.
Here.
Dixon. Gibbons.
Here.
Hannon.
Present.
Harrison.
Present.
McLean.
Here.
Mowry.
Here.
O'Brien. Pate. 6 present.
6 members present. This time we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I have a couple chair announcements. Executive session of council is conducted on April 28, 2014 for police personnel issues. And tonight, before we came out, May 12, 2014 litigation and personnel issues. This time I'd like to turn to the reports of the officials, the librarian's report. Hearing none, can we turn to the police chief's report, Chief Mackey.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Good evening, everyone. Hope you'll bear with me this evening. I actually have a few items more than I usually do. First of all, we had a resident come into the police station the other day. He wanted to report what he felt was an attempted fraud that he received in the mail. And I'm going to assume that several people received this mailing, so I had an opportunity to take a quick look into it. Not a real in-depth investigation, believe me, but just a chance to take a quick look. It was information he received in the mail in regards to Medicaid and Medicare benefits that you could sign up for. It was a solicitation. However, when I read the information that he provided, they tell you right in the information that Medicare has not reviewed this information. They have not endorsed it. It's not sponsored by any government agency. So that kind of lends me to believe that this is not somebody trying to perpetrate a fraud. It does say that it's from TrueBridge, and I did a quick internet search for TrueBridge. There is a company out there that actually deals with Medicare benefits by the name of TrueBridge. So the information they requested was basically name, address. They did ask for a date of birth, which may have obviously a lot to do with whether or not you are eligible for Medicare benefits. But it did not ask for any other personal information, such as a Social Security number. I've spoken at these meetings many times about potential frauds. I've always recommended that you never ever give out your personal information, especially your Social Security number, and especially when somebody calls you looking for information. I think you can feel pretty safe and secure when you're the one that made the phone call. You're the one that's seeking information, so you call a company or an individual, you know who they are because you made the phone call. When you get an unsolicited call at home seeking personal information, I think it's always best to just deny it. And if you're interested, you can do your own research and reach out to people. So I can't say 100% that this is not a fraud, but just basically what I looked at, I don't believe it is. But again, I just wanted to caution people, anytime you receive any type of solicitation, that you take a good hard look at it before you make any decisions. And certainly if you have any questions, this gentleman did the right thing. He came to the police station and he reported it. And as always, if you ever have any questions concerning any phone calls you receive or any information you get in the mail, please don't hesitate to reach out to the police department. The second item I wanted to talk about is the next Crime Watch meeting. That will be on Monday, May 19th, 6:30 p.m. It'll be at the Community Center as usual. And our guest speaker this month will be our newly appointed District Magistrate, Ron Arnone. And there was a note here to let folks know that Mr. Arnone has actually been a member of Crime Watch since the very beginning. And he will be our guest speaker. You don't have to be a member of Crime Watch to attend our meetings. If you're interested, please come on out, see what Crime Watch is all about, and you can listen to our guest speakers. On April 26th, we participated in the National Drug Take-Back Program. We've been doing this for several years now. Once again, it was a very successful program. We collected over 200 pounds of unused, unwanted, expired medications. Those are medications that won't get flushed or washed down the sink. Those are also medications that won't be diverted for illegal use or fall into the hands of children. So once again, the Drug Take-Back program was a huge success. We will probably be participating again around September, October, and once that information comes out, we'll be sure to make plenty of announcements. Police Memorial Week started on May 11th, and it continues until May 17th. As I usually do every year, I thank everybody out there for your participation with the police department, for all the help that you've given us over the years. We did have, in the history of the Bethel Park Police Department, we've had 2 police officers who were killed in the line of duty. We remember them every year. Officer Joseph Shemolinsky and Detective Lynn Sutter, again, both were killed in the line of duty over the years, and their names are on our police memorial in front of the police department. We do, as we do every year, we have blue ribbons at the police records room, at EV Hardware Store on Library Road, and at Skip Young's Auto down at the intersection of Drake Road and South Park Road. So we ask you, if you're so inclined, please pick up a blue ribbon, fly it from your car antenna or car mirror. I can tell you that the police officers who are out there on the patrol really appreciate seeing the support from the community, and I can't guarantee that that blue ribbon will get you out of a citation, but the officers really do appreciate seeing the support out there. On May 31st, we have a really special program that's going to be held in the parking lot up at Kohl's department store. It's going to be a bicycle safety rodeo. We haven't done one of these in several years, and we actually have several sponsors this year. Bethel Park Police Department, Mount Lebanon Police Department, Upper St. Clair Police Department, Bethel Park Fire Department, Upper St. Clair Fire Department, Mount Lebanon Fire Department, Tri-Community South EMS, and Medical Rescue Team South will all be on hand for the bicycle rodeo, which is sponsored by Kohl's and Children's Hospital. Now, the kids that want to participate in the program are required to have a bicycle and a helmet to participate, and will also have to sign a waiver, a liability waiver. Now, if a kid doesn't have a helmet, we will provide helmets for them so they can participate. There's also going to be a couple bicycle raffles, one for a young boy and for a young girl. So again, that is going to be on May 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a rain or shine event, again at the parking lot at Kohl's department store. And obviously would like to thank all of the agencies that are involved. We've never done anything like this with 3 police departments, 3 fire, and 2 EMS, so it should be quite an event. Also, again, would like to thank Kohl's, Oxford Development for allowing us to use the property, and also Children's Hospital. So May 31st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And finally, over the past couple of weeks, we were very fortunate in the police department to receive a couple grants. And these grants are all going towards our Police Pals and Crime Watch programs. And we actually have some folks here tonight that would like to make some presentations. So I am going to, first I'll have you all come up together, but Cindy Cooney is here representing the Murdoch family and South Park Shops. We have Ada Guggenauer from Walmart, and we have Tom Zabilski from Guardian Protection. And over the months, over the years, you've heard me talk about several of the programs that the police department hosts. Municipal Council and the municipality of Bethel Park has been very generous to the police department, and we do have a budget to put on these programs. But we also like to do a little bit extra every year, and thanks to the donations from some of our partners that we've cultivated out in the community, we're able to do a little bit extra. And rather than me explain everything, I'm going to have everybody at least give a brief overview of what their donation is intended for and actually what they will be used for. And Cindy, you can go first.
Thank you, Chief. I have a check for $2,000, and this is for the ID card program. This is the second year that the Murdoch family and the merchants of South Park Shops are able to sponsor this. They believe in community. They thank everyone that frequents South Park Shops, and they especially thank all our police, fire, and EMS for the great partnership and relationship and the job that they do in this community. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
I'm Ada from Walmart, and I would like to, it's actually an honor and a privilege to present you with this check for $2,500, and that check is to be used for all the great community services that you provide for everyone in the community, and it's a special thanks for taking care of everyone and all the businesses in the community as well. So thank you very much. This is Christine. She's actually my right-hand person and makes that building run well down there, so I thank her too.
All right, Chief, this is a check to help with any of the Crime Watch programs, other things to invite people to Crime Watch. Certainly, Guardians had a 14-year relationship or more with Bethel Park, and certainly what we do pales in comparison to what the police and the fire and the emergency responders do, but certainly we hope our contributions are helping making this a little bit safer community. So thank you very much.
I just wanted to mention a few years ago we started erecting signs out in the neighborhoods, or Crime Watch signs, and you'll notice that those signs were sponsored by Guardian several years ago. This year, through their donation, we were actually able to come up with some pens. These are given out, obviously, to remind people about Crime Watch here in Bethel Park. These are pretty neat because they have a flashlight on the end. It is a real functional pen. And also on the opposite end, it has one of these little rubber tips. Most people have, what do you call them, iPads, iPhones, and these work really well on those items. So again, oh, you know what, Officer Tom Rigatti couldn't be here tonight. And I really want to thank Tom. He is our Crime Watch, our Crime Prevention Officer, and Tom is the one that's out there actually asking for money, begging for money. But the big thing is, more than the money, it's getting people involved. Again, it's cultivating these types of partnerships that really benefit everybody in the community. And I'm sorry Tom couldn't be here. Tom, if you're out there watching, thanks for all you do. And again, thank you all very much for your donations.
Thank you.
Okay, on Mr. O'Brien called me before the meeting. He's unable to attend. Come on out. And he just wanted to know if he'd be able to participate in the bicycle rodeo.
As long as he has a helmet, he can participate.
If you see Mr. O'Brien, can everybody just let him know that he's more than welcome to attend the rodeo. Thank you, Chief. It's time to turn to the fire chief's report.
Hello, my name is Tom Kelton. I am the second lieutenant with the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. The chief is unable to be here tonight, and he apologized for that. month of April, we had 34 fire calls. That's ranging from false alarms to CO detectors in houses to fire alarms in commercial buildings, fires in buildings, fires outside of buildings. You name it, we did it. Fundraising. Everybody should have received the first fundraising letter of the year. Went out a couple months ago. If you have lost that letter, still want to make a donation, we invite you to go to our website at BethelParkVFC.com to donate online, or it will tell you on there how to go to the bank or mail us a check. With fundraising, we have a fundraiser coming up in a couple months yet, but we're still preparing for it now. It's Oktoberfest on October 18th, 2014. That is scheduled to be at the Community Center. And you'll be seeing a lot of advertising coming out for that soon. We have a lot of great things planned for that day, including live bands. So look for more information on that coming out. We also hope to have a car cruise coming out. The date is still to be determined on that. We'll be doing that as well sometime later this summer. Most of you probably heard the thunder and lightning earlier today. I want to talk a little bit about preparing for an emergency. Power does go out quite often with these thunderstorms rolling through. So we ask that you guys be prepared, have an emergency kit at home in case the power does go out. Have extra water, food that you won't need, electricity to cook. Most of you might think, have canned goods, we'll be fine. And then you lose your electricity and realize I have an electric stove, I can't use it. So think of those kind of things, just have things on hand that won't go perishable too quickly, and you'll be able to eat them when the power's out. Also, flashlights and extra batteries. We ask you that you use those things instead of candles and matches, especially if you have small kids in the house. It gets dark, the kids can't see very well, they'll knock that candle right over. So flashlights and extra batteries as well. Last summer, we had a lot of flooded roadways. People were trying to drive through them, we had a couple cars get stuck. It's that time of year again, so please, if you see a flooded roadway, you don't know how much water is in there, especially with the potholes on the roads these days. It gets very deep very quickly, the water comes up quick as well. So please don't try to drive in through them. It just gets very dangerous very quickly. Down power lines as well, don't drive through them. Try not to move, we don't want you to move them or touch them, even if you think it might be a cable or phone line. It doesn't mean that cable or phone line isn't touching the down power line that is live. So stay away from the down lines as well. Lastly, we are always looking for new members. Volunteer Fire Company is, just like it says, volunteer. It's 100% volunteer, meaning we don't get any compensation for when we go out and do fire prevention activities, when we respond to calls, running the day-to-day operations of the fire company. We receive no compensation for that. It's all run by volunteers. So please, if you're interested in joining, or you know someone that might be interested in joining, feel free to check out our website at www.BethelParkVFC.com, or you can look us up on Facebook as well and message us on there. And that's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you very much. At this time, we turn to the mayor's report. Mayor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Won't be as long tonight as usual. So I've been watching the EMS personnel go in and out. So we're going to do next week, May 18th is EMS week. And I want to bring the people up from the EMS that are here. And if the other ones come back in, they can certainly join us. So if you come up front, please. You have a proclamation, and then you can say whatever you want to say.
Almost.
Almost. This is a proclamation presented on the 12th day of May, 2014, the Tri-Community South Emergency Medical Service. Whereas the medical emergency services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the emergency medical team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical service providers, in particular Tri-Community South Director Nora Helfrich and her dedicated and highly skilled team by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Therefore, I, Jack Allen, Mayor of the Municipality of Bethel Park, along with Timothy Mowry, President of Bethel Park Municipal Council, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to the 24th, 2014, as Emergency Medical Services Week, with the theme EMS Dedicated for Life. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, and given under my hand and the seal of the Mayor of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, this 12th day of May, 2014. So, congratulations. I'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I just want to remind those that might be here or in the audience that Tri-Community South's golf outing is coming up on May 22nd, and we're still short a few golfers, and we can use those as well. And also, we have our CPR program that's kind of slacking out on people that are signing up, and we have those at our station every month that we want to get as many people trained in CPR as we can. I guess that's basically about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Allen, if I may might add, if Nora couldn't make it tonight, Nora Helfrich, but I know if she was here, she would also remind everyone, it's still not too late to subscribe, to get a yearly subscription to Tri-Community South EMS.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Barnes,
Mr. Harrison.
we may mention also that the publication that came out this week addressed the fact that the pitifully small percentage of the people in Bethel Park are signing up with Tri-Community EMS. So maybe we can take an opportunity to tell the people they can read the article, but more importantly, that they ought to support this excellent service we have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, the subscription certainly pays for itself. A couple years ago, I hadn't had it and had to use their services, and believe me, it'll pay for itself in the long run. So I encourage anyone to sign up to get the subscription to the EMS. So, thank you. Next I have, since everyone's in the giving mood tonight, I'd like to call the president of the Bethel Park Community Foundation, Mike Dobus, and he's going to present the municipality with a check from the foundation, and he'll tell you what it's for.
Mr. Mayor, I'm pleased to give you a check for $4,130 to replace some of the tables over the community center. There was a grant applied for by the community center and was approved by the foundation. And I'd just like to take a second to tell the community that the Bethel Park Community Foundation provides grants in the areas of the arts, recreation, scholarships, and things of that nature. And if you're interested in applying, you can go to our website at bpcf, BethelParkCommunityFoundation.org, and the more information on how to apply for a grant and the grant applications are there. And so we're very happy to provide the municipality and other groups in the municipality to help make Bethel Park a better place to live.
Thank you, Mike. Just out of curiosity, do you have any idea over the years how much money the foundation is given out?
Between $400,000 and $500,000.
So, I mean, it's unbelievable. Next, I wanted to recognize a person that actually runs the farmers market that we have. It's last week was the first week, and I believe it goes through October. But Mr. Kraft will tell you all about it, so if he can come up.
Thank you, Jack. For the record, Dick Kraft, 102 Highland Road. Thank little history lesson. About 8 years ago, I was reading the Post-Gazette, the food column, and there was a listing there of all the food markets, farmers markets within Allegheny County. And I noticed that we weren't in there. We should be in there. We have a population of about 333,000 people here. So I took my suggestion to Gary Lefevre, who was director of the Recreation Board at that time. And he said basically no. So then I said, if we're going to get this approved, I'll have to go through the loops myself and do some research. So I contacted Arlene Burnett, who writes the column in the Post-Gazette, and she gave me a couple of tips about what to do. So I then, there's the four things that were important to establish a market. One was a need. So I went to Giant Eagle's produce department, hung out there for a while, talked to some of the customers, ladies mostly. And I said, would you support the farmer's market in Bethel Park if we had one? She said, oh, I'd love to do that. That's a great idea. I'd rather buy foods that were produced here, farmers markets locally, and get some bananas from, or not bananas, but peaches from Argentina or someplace. So that was good. And then I went to, I had to find out, find a date and a time for this thing. So in that listing, I noticed there was no Tuesdays listed for any of the markets around here, so that was a good plus. And then, of course, location, that was very important. So I thought, where's the biggest place that could handle this thing? So I went to the people, the owners, not the owner, but the manager at the Kohl's department store and the Village Square. And I was told that that's out of their hands. That was ordered by Oxford Development Company, and they're in New York or someplace. So that was a no sell there. Then I went to Christ Methodist Church, who has a very big parking lot. There again, they weren't interested. So ground zero. So finally, of course, you need vendors, most important thing. So Mount Lebanon was holding a farmer's market there, so I went up to talk to some of the vendors. And they were already engaged in their contracts with Mount Lebanon at the time. They said, well, I'll give you my name and address, phone numbers, and we'll probably call me next spring, so which way I would do. So I brought all this information back to Gary, and I thought, you know, he still said no. So a good friend of mine, Eric Rudolph, was on the board of Recreation Board. So I go to church with him, and he told me, Dick, he said, if you want this thing to go through, let it be Gary's idea. So the following spring, we opened with Gary Lefevre's Farmers Market. And we started with just 5 vendors. 2 farms, Kearns Farm, H. Matthews Farm, Joyce's Fudge, and a company called, well, I can't get the name of it, but anyway, and Clara's Pierogies. So that was good. We started at the parking lot near the Historical Center on Park Avenue. We were there for about a year, that season anyway. So then we moved up to what is now the lower level of the parking for the community center. We were there 2 years, and then council decided to build on the recreation, the gymnasium. So we had to move back down where we were before. So therefore, like this now, those who don't have email, there's a listing you can pick up in the library next door here. There's 20 vendors now, from 5 to 20. So we're selling now. We have Tucson Kearns Farm. We have Copper Kettle Fudge, Simmons Market, Bread Spreads, Keener's Just Nuts, Loafer's Breads, and so forth. So come on out. We'll be there from now till October sometime. So come out and enjoy it. Thank you.
If anyone hadn't been there, it's a nice experience to go up there and see what they have to offer. And finally, I only have 3 things, but Mr. O'Brien's not here. So I want to mention everyone about our Memorial Day service that we have on May 26th. We have a service at the Veterans Memorial out front followed by a parade, and then a service in the cemetery. Also want to mention on May 24th, the ladies of the American Revolution, we will be dedicating a tree out in the front. It will actually be part of the memorial, but it will be on the other side of the sidewalk, and they are dedicating that to the Vietnam veterans. So that'll be 10 o'clock on May 24th. If anybody could attend that, it'll be a nice little ceremony. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Okay, at this time, we turn to the approval of minutes, and Mr. Hannon.
First item is to move to approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 14th, 2014.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of April 14, 2014. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Colella?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Maury?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to Mr. Hannon to approve the minutes of public hearing of October 28, 2013.
I move that we approve the public hearing minutes of October 28th, 2013, Spencer Family YMCA conditional use major land development.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the public hearing minutes of October 28, 2013, Spencer Family YMCA conditional use major land development. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Givens?
Yes.
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Maury?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to approval of the bills and payrolls. Mr. Hannon.
I move we approve the bills and payrolls for municipality per bill list number 051214 in the amount of $871,558.93.
Second.
There is a motion and a second that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 051214 in the amount of $871,558.93. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Maury?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Givens?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. This time, I'd like to turn to the residents' comment for non-agenda items. If you'd like to come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Then we do have a 3-minute limit. We'll signal 2 minutes and ask you to conclude.
My name is Gina Pasco. It's spelled Pasko. And I live at 4470 First Street. I was here last month. I had a few issues. And I want to first thank Chief Mackey, because a lot of the stuff's been taken care of. Basketball hoop is down off of First Street. However, they now are doing hockey. And so there's the big hockey nets. Again, it is causing an issue with traffic. Again, with them not moving out of the way. Again, the little kids leaving toys in the street. It's, for those that don't know, First Street, very narrow one-way road. Since the weather's been warmer, there's constantly cars trying to swerve around the toys that are left behind. Being a narrow street, my husband's truck's been hit. Cars trying to maneuver. Cars out there just honking horns, waiting for somebody to come and retrieve their toys out of the street. Also, being that it is a one-way road, we do have a neighbor at the end of the road who consistently pulls out off of First Street going out of the one-way. I've seen quite a few accidents happen there. Being he lives at the first house at the bottom of the street, instead of driving up and around, he continually exits out there. I don't know if anything could be done about that. And the other issue is, again, with parking. I don't know, I've had neighbors talk to me after the last meeting. Of course, none of them have come. I've told them they can come and speak. The problem is overflow from Washington Junction parking. Parking is very limited in our neighborhood. Is there any way we can get a sign saying residential parking only? The last meeting I was here, we had the issue. I was talking about people putting chairs out, blocking parking. And a lot of it is overflow from Washington Junction. And again, just the speed coming through there. People use it as a cut-through street to beat the light at the end of Milford on 88. And we get a very heavy flow of fast-moving cars, anywhere between 4 and 6 p.m. And I found out Bethel Park does not have a curfew. From what I understand, I don't know if we could enforce a curfew. Again, with the weather being nice, some of these kids aren't coming out till 11, 12 at night. School's going to be out. Okay, so my time's up. But school's going to be out, and there is an issue, again, with no curfew. Them playing hockey in the street, midnight, whatnot. They do not move for cars. We actually had an argument with some of them. But the patrols being picked up down there has done a help. And the cat population has dropped drastically. So, still more, but it's dropped drastically. So I did want to thank you for your help down there with that, Chief Mackey.
Okay, Chief, you can follow up on those couple issues? Thank you very much. Are there any other residents who would like to speak? Hearing none, would like to move into the agenda, general policy and finance. And Mr. McLean, we have no residents signed up to speak.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda under general policy and finance items is an ordinance amendment to certain provisions of the police pension. I move that we approve the ordinance to amend certain provisions of the municipal police pension plan to maintain compliance with the Internal Revenue Code.
Second.
There is a motion and a second that we approve the ordinance to amend certain provisions of the municipal police pension plan to maintain compliance with the Internal Revenue Code. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Mowry?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Hannon?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Mr. McLean.
Next item on the agenda is an ordinance amendment to certain provisions of the non-police employees pension. I move that we approve the ordinance to amend certain provisions of the municipal non-uniform pension plan to maintain compliance with the Internal Revenue Code.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the ordinance to amend certain provisions of the municipal non-uniform pension plan to maintain compliance with the Internal Revenue Code. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
McLean?
Yes.
Mowry?
Yes.
Colella?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Mr. McLean.
There are no additional agenda items.
Are there any additional items from council?
Mr. Murray?
Mr. Harrison.
I have two items. Number one is at the January meeting, I told the public that I was continuing my effort to get the prevailing wage, the 1960 vintage prevailing wage legislation updated due to the escalation of cost. And at that time, I acknowledged that Representative Marr had been very helpful in trying to get something through the Pennsylvania legislature. He actually introduced two bills at different times, different sessions. The next day, I sent an email to Representative John Marr and told him that I had spoken to it from the dais here and asked him to update me on the efforts to get the legislation changed. So at the February meeting, I told people that I hadn't heard from Representative Marr, and at the March meeting, I told people I haven't heard from Representative Marr, and at the April meeting, I told people I hadn't heard from Representative Marr, and here it is the May meeting, I still haven't heard from him. And I'm not for sure why, but the fact that he had been cooperative in this effort before, I just don't understand what's going on. Maybe he'll get the message that we'd like to find out what's going on. Secondly, I have alleged that this governing body was inept in timing of the passing of the ordinance to place the question on the May 2013 ballot to provide a dedicated tax for the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. I say inept because I allege the ordinance passed by council violated the Home Rule Charter. Section 1107 of the Home Rule Charter, entitled Effective Date, says the effective date of an ordinance shall be no sooner than 30 days after its adoption. Nowhere in the Home Rule Charter is any ordinance exempted. The second amendment of the United States Constitution is suffering from considerable discussion of the meaning of militia, the one relative to the gun control. And the framers of this amendment are no longer available to speak to the meaning. Fortunately, this is not true of Section 1107 of the Home Rule Charter. I was a member of the Home Rule Charter Commission, and I wrote Section 1107. This section was included in the Home Rule Charter to allow any ordinance passed by council to be challenged by the public before it becomes effective. This option has been used successfully several times. Members of council spent approximately 2 years negotiating with the Bethel Park Volunteer Company personnel to provide an ordinance for the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company dedicated tax. I allege that this governing body was inept in that the ordinance was introduced a month late to be in compliance with the Home Rule Charter mandated effective date. The ordinance was submitted to the election department by Mr. McTiernan approximately 25 days before its effective date. Mr. McTiernan issued a ruling that I have called a Philadelphia lawyer ruling that says the state can override our Home Rule Charter. I asked the question then, what's the use of the Home Rule? The question has arisen as to the validity of Section 1107 of the Home Rule Charter due to the ruling by Mr. McTiernan. I presented the question to council in an email and requested the item be placed on the April General Policy and Finance Committee, which it was. The request was to address the status of Section 1107 of the Home Rule Charter in light of the McTiernan ruling. Rather than council addressing the requested clarification, Councilman Hannan suggested that a committee of the council be formed to review the Home Rule Charter. The published committee minutes for that meeting state that upon discussion by council, it was the consensus of council, minus this councilman, to form a Home Rule Charter Review Committee. In my opinion, this action is unneeded and unwise. Mr. O'Brien said at the committee meeting that I should drop the issue because the action is behind us. Council's action to pass a consensus to form such a committee appears to me to think that the issue is not behind us. The United States of American Constitution has served us well for several centuries. The framers of the USA Constitution were wise enough to recognize that changes to the Constitution may be needed and provided the mechanism for to make the needed changes. 17 amendments, in addition to the Bill of Rights, have been enacted over the years. The most recent amendment was May 1992. The Home Rule Charter has served us well for several decades. The framers of the Bethel Park Home Rule Charter were wise enough to recognize that changes to the Home Rule Charter may be needed and provided the mechanism to implement the changes. The Home Rule Charter has had 4 amendments. The most recent amendment became effective November 1998. Since that time, no Home Rule Charter amendments have been placed on the ballot. If Mr. Hannan or any other councilman think amendments to the Home Rule Charter are necessary, the mechanism for change is provided in a Home Rule Charter. Councilman Hannan suggested that the Committee of Council be formed to review the Home Rule Charter and approved by the consensus of council minus this councilman is a political camouflage move to obscure council's ineptness in handling the introduction of the Bethel Park Volunteer Company ordinance, I allege. The Bethel Park citizens would be ill-served by such a move, that is a move to form this committee. The cost and time that would be involved is unwarranted. costs would be incurred for advertising, publication, public meetings, and so on. As noted above, if changes to the Home Rule Charter is needed, the mechanism to accomplish the changes are built into the Home Rule Charter. This action by council reminds me of the old saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Mr. Hammond.
Yes, I made the suggestion. I think it's a good idea. The issue with some political motivation, it's only doing what other communities that have home rule charters do. Some actually do it on a 10-year basis where they sit down and go section by section and see how it works, see if there's any changes. But it's up to the voters. If there's any changes to be made, the voters have the ultimate say. So the whole point being is, I think it's time. I mean, the piecemealing, picking sections out and putting it on the ballot doesn't do anybody service as far as the efficiency of government goes. And I think it's time that, I mean, I really enjoy Mr. Harrison comparing himself to the founding fathers, but I think that's a little bit over. Mr. Harrison, have the floor.
Oh, yeah, that's good, yeah. A lot of it.
I find that very entertaining. But I think overall we have a serious job to do here, and I think it's time to look at things, look how our government works, to let the people make some choices, maybe to change some things. But it's time to look at it, to bring the open air to government versus to wait till someone has a specific political agenda to make piecemeal changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon.
Mr. Mowry?
Mr. McLean.
I just want to echo Mr. Hannon's comments. He's right. Other communities undertake a regular review of their home rule charter. By way of example, Mount Lebanon, who passed their original charter right around the same time that Bethel Park did in the mid-'70s, has actually undertaken 2 reviews, including one they just finished in January of this year. And it's an opportunity to look at your entire charter, ask yourselves, is this working, or is there something that we could change so that we can improve it overall? Anecdotally, I've actually spoken with another one of the founding fathers of our Home Rule Charter. My father was the chair of the Home Rule Study Commission that adopted the charter, and I mentioned to him this concept of this council initiating a study in the community, and his remark to me was it was long overdue, that it is something that we should have been undertaking at an earlier point in time. So this is correct. It's the right thing to do. There's nothing about it that is part of an agenda, and we'll do it in a very open and very public way so that everyone will have a chance to participate. And I'm actually looking forward to that process moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We are very happy that you're looking forward because Mr. McLean will be the chairman of the review committee.
I'll keep you advised of my happiness.
Hopefully the balance of the committee will be announced next month. And just to comment on Mr. Harrison's unfounded allegations, I'll just say I'm a little insulted he didn't mention my name tonight, but what he said isn't true. We did it in the open public. Everybody knew to talk about something that happened well over a year ago. Some of us live in the past, and some of us want to plan for the future. Any other discussion from the council? Hearing none, can we turn to planning and zoning and Mr. Hannon?
Okay, the first item is a resolution, the Allegheny CDBG and home programs. I move that we adopt the resolution for opt-in participation in the Allegheny County CDBG and home programs for the years 2015, 2016, and 2017.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we adopt the resolution to opt-in participation in Allegheny County CDBG and home programs for the years 2015, 2016, and 2017. Any discussion on this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Mowry.
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Hannon.
Next is a resolution to support of the Community Development Block Grant. I move that we adopt the resolution for support of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program as requested by SHACOG.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we adopt a resolution for the support of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program as requested by SHACOG. Any discussion on this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Colella.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Hannon.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Mowry.
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Henry.
The next item is a resolution for the DCNR 2014 Community Recreation and Conservation Program grant application. Move that we adopt the resolution as commitment to provide matching funds associated with the Bethel Park Facilities Inventory Community Relations Needs Grant.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we adopt the resolution as a commitment to provide matching funds associated with the Bethel Park Facilities Inventory Community Recreation Needs Grant. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Givens,
Yes.
Hannon,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Colella.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Henry.
Next is an application number 2014-0069, Eaton Park number 14, Major Land Development. Move that we approve application number 2014-0069, Eaton Park number 14, Major Land Development, 5220 Library Road, Eaton Park Hospitality Group, Inc., applicant, in accordance with municipal planners' correspondence dated May 8th, 2014.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. We approve the application number 2014-0069, Eaton Park, number 14, Major Land Development, 5220 Library Road, Eaton Park Hospitality Group, Inc., applicant in accordance with the municipal planners' correspondence dated May 8th, 2014. Any discussion of this item?
Mr. Mowry?
Mr. McLean.
Just going to note for the record, I'll be abstaining on this due to the fact that I provide services to the landowner who is the landlord to Eaton Park.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Any additional items? Hearing none, Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Hannon,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
McLean,
Abstain.
Maury,
Yes.
Colella,
Yes.
Givens.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one abstention. Mr. Henry.
We have no further agenda items under planning and zoning, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. Any additional items? This time, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare? And Mr. Hannon, we have no residents sign up to speak.
Okay, the item on health, safety, and welfare is a resolution in support of the radar bills. Move that we adopt the resolution in support of Senate Bill 1340 and House Bill 1272, enabling all municipal police to use the same motor vehicle speed timing equipment as the Pennsylvania State Police.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We adopt a resolution in support of Senate Bill 1340 and House Bill 1272, enabling all municipal police to use the same motor vehicle speed timing equipment as the Pennsylvania State Police. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Maury,
Yes.
Colella,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Hannon,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Hannon.
There's no further agenda items under health, safety, and welfare, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Any additional items? Hearing none, we adjourn to Public Works and Maintenance and Ms. Gibbons. We have no residents signed up to speak.
And there are no items on the agenda for public works and maintenance.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, is there a
Move we adjourn.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.